I made a video at this house all the way back in July of 2023. That's over a year ago now. And
the main reason prices are so damn high when you go to the store is greedflation. Indiana.
It's official, guys. Walmart has removed the self-checkout counter from my store.
I have a few videos right now where I rant about the price of things. I'm AJ, I'm a realtor here in London, Ontario, and if you like this video, please like, follow, and now.
Rich and their evil lackeys are finally admitting that inflation is being fueled by excessive profits. And guess what?
I made a video at this house all the way back in July of 2023. That's over a year ago now, and as you can see, it's still for sale. All the way back then when I made my video, it was listed for 3.3 million. Now, after more than a year, can anybody guess how low they dropped the price? They haven't. They've increased the price to $3.6 million now. We've reached a point in the housing market where it seems like you can throw all the conventional wisdom out the window. I've heard houses that are listed for more than 4 months referred to as cursed real estate before, as if it's sitting and not selling would be a good reason to lower the price and maybe get somebody interested, right? But no, it doesn't sell for a year and they increase the price hundreds of thousands of dollars. And this is the situation we're at now, where people are literally just sitting and waiting, letting real estate sit and getting nothing for it, the hopes that the price is going to go up in the future. As if home prices outpacing the S&P 500, or any index for that matter, means that it's going to continue forever. But it remains to be seen what's going to happen as more and more houses like this sit completely vacant, the housing shortage continues.
The main reason prices are so damn high when you go to the store is greedflation. Indiana, give me 90 seconds and I'll explain greedflation. When underlying costs rise, corporations pass their business costs onto consumers. That causes inflation. But then when corporations use that inflation as an excuse to jack up their prices and their profits, that is greedflation. Let me give you an example. 2 companies control almost all of the US diaper market. Now, diaper prices have gone up 30% since 2019. The rise was mostly because of an increase in wood pulp, a major component of diapers. And wood pulp prices went up until January of 2023 when the prices for wood pulp dropped. But guess what didn't drop? Diaper prices. Even though the prices to make diapers went down, diapers didn't get any cheaper at the store. Instead, executives at both companies bragged about their increased profits. They flat out said on earnings calls that the decreased underlying cost to make the diapers is the major reason that their profits increased. So that makes you feel the pain of inflation while they feel the joy of increased profits. That is greedflation.
So you mean to tell me inflation isn't really inflation, it's just corporate greed? It don't say, I always felt this way, but I just never had no proof. Like I never could put my finger on it and be like, no, they're not raising the prices because of inflation. They're raising the prices because they want a bigger profit. And they're going to keep raising the prices until we be like, nah, I'm good. And then once they see us not buying, what do? Oh, deflation. The prices are coming down. Stop trying to play me like I'm a fool. Stop trying to play me like I'm stupid. And that's what corporations and big businesses do. They try to play you like you stupid, but they don't know. I have my bachelor's in marketing and I'm pursuing my master's. So it's like, ain't nobody stupid around here. We see exactly what you're doing. Like, consumers are very smart. We see what you're doing. It's no way that everything is just higher just cause. Like, what's the reason? It's somebody at the top saying they want a higher profit. That's why inflation occurs. Because what else is the reason? What else is, how are they able to just start slicing prices when they get in the mood and do deflation? Y'all could have been deflated. Y'all just wanted to get the extra money while it was coming in. It's official, guys. Walmart has removed the self-checkout counter from my store. Now, the only people who can use self-checkout is Walmart Plus members. Now, mind you, I'm the crazy one, right? This company that has hundreds of billions of dollars, is now charging you a yearly fee to check out your own groceries. And now, as the lines are longest down the store, they're not going to pay more employees to work. They're not going to pay more to work. They're not going to give employees cash registers that work and are updated and efficient. Every time you try and work with a cashier, they're standing there trying to get the machine to work.
And now you have to pay a yearly fee, and it's not even like it's cheap like Costco. It costs more than Costco. Like on the Walmart app, it's saying see if you qualify for 50% off of the $49 a year. So it's $100 a year to check your own self out. Clown world. Clown world. We literally live in clown world. Like, where up is down and right is left and black is white, and like, how is the city still standing? How is the city still standing? What's next? What's next? We live in subscription hell. Subscription hell. So now if I want to be in and out of this store in some modicum of a timely fashion, which I do because the store stresses me out, as most stores do, I have to pay a yearly fee in order to get my 2 little things that I need, get into the line, and get out of here. And so it's moments like this when it's like you start to realize, okay, I'm gonna have to start making a lifestyle change now. I don't want to be in here. I'm gonna start shopping here less. Last minute picking up stuff, I'm not gonna do it here. I'm gonna do it at Winn-Dixie or Aldi or Publix or what have you, or Target even. Like, how many more subscriptions? How many more? Like, how much more money do you need from people? Like, people are already shopping in your store, and now you're making them pay a subscription to shop here. And I bet you Walmart Plus is Plus for now. It's gonna move to everybody. Like, if you want to shop at Walmart, you have to pay $100 a year. The store is not cleaner. It's not more organized. There aren't more workers working. I know for a fact that they're not getting paid more per hour. Like, again, why is the city still standing?
I have a few videos right now where I rant about the price of things. I'm AJ, I'm a realtor here in London, Ontario, and if you like this video, please like, follow, and share. Now, there are many things in this life that we cannot control. One of those things is whether the Bank of Canada increases interest rates or not. And once those interest rates are increased, they have impacts on everyone. But inflation is something that we can control to a large extent. You see, products are priced at a level the market will bear. And it's why I love Costco. Now, I mistakenly called this seal test cream. It is, in fact, lactancia cream. And as you can see, it's $2.69. Now, fair point, they raised the price some more. It used to be $2.05. However, $2.69 is still far better than Metro's $4.69. Ground beef at Loblaws, $14 a kilogram. Ground beef at Costco, $9 a kilogram. 1 kilogram of feta cheese at Loblaws? Yes, that says $35. 1 kilogram of feta cheese at Costco? $16. Or like I did, I opted for the Kirkland brand, which is $15. Now, Loblaws says they're going to freeze prices of their no-name brand products until January of next year. Of course, this comes in the wake of the government deciding to investigate them for greedflation. And let's be clear about something. A recession is going to hurt all of us. These high interest rates are precariously close to causing a disaster. And they're high so that we fight inflation. The government is indirectly forcing people like you and me to spend less on products. So let's just willingly do it before things go terrible. Besides, look at what I just showed you today. Many of these companies are ridiculously profiteering over their products. They are betting that you can't be bothered to be inconvenienced to go spend half as much on feta cheese, or half as much on coffee cream, or any number of other products that they have overpriced. Inflation can account for some of these price increases, but not the ones that we're seeing.
Rich and their evil lackeys are finally admitting that inflation is being fueled by excessive profits, and guess what? They're actually claiming that it's good for the economy. Now, this isn't really a new argument. Rich people have argued for a long time that them being richer makes everyone else better off, despite evidence of the contrary. What they won't admit is that they're getting richer at the expense of working people and the economy. The economy is people, and people are the economy. And this recent bout of inflation is hitting working people hard. More people than ever are being forced to work second jobs. Almost half of Australian workers are feeling overwhelmed by debt. Don't let rich people off the hook. Greedflation is bad, full stop.
Remember when prices started skyrocketing and we were all like, hey, this is corporate greed, but then we were gaslit by US government officials and economists who said it was all in our heads? It turns out it's not in our heads. Greed inflation is real. Financial experts were not just denying that corporate profits were causing inflation, they were actually blaming consumers, which is like peak gaslighting. Like toxic boyfriends should study this communication tactic because we all sort of believe the financial experts. Now a lot of financial experts are like, wait, this greed inflation inflation thing is not a fringe theory. So here's the deal. Even though inflation is coming down, it's still really high. And the former vice chair of the Fed was like, hey, it's not people getting higher wages that's driving inflation. Instead, she says what's making everything expensive is something called price-to-price spiral, which is basically price gouging. Companies just mark up the cost of their products and services even though their input cost hasn't increased. This guy is a famous economist, and he was even like, profit margins have led to inflation. And this was getting really egregious in 2022 when retailers and some consumer brand companies were convincing their shoppers that, hey, we have no choice, we just have to raise prices, which is actually not true. And the thing is, a lot of companies started convincing us that this is just how it works. Everything has to go up in price and we have to accept it. Technically, that's not how economics works. There's this saying that economists like to say, especially in colleges, where high prices are cured by high prices, which means that a company can only make something as expensive as a customer is willing to pay. That's why cars don't sell for $1 million. That price is like way too outrageous. But during this time, we're seeing like cars that usually sell for $30,000 being sold for $50,000. And there's enough buyers that believe that price is fair that they're buying it, even though it shouldn't actually cost that much to buy the car. The whole thing is a self-fulfilling prophecy, and the people who lose are us, the consumer. Even the almighty Fed chair Jerome Powell, who was very quick to blame consumers, us, for high inflation, has now actually changed his tune. He is now saying that high wages are not likely to be driving inflation, and instead it could be other factors, which is very different than what he said in 2021. So what does this mean for you? Everything is very expensive, and those costs are not necessarily justified. But prices will continue to increase if people just buy. Like, there's this mindset that we think, oh, inflation is high, therefore everything should be more expensive. And that's what causes the price spiral.
I saw this and it felt a little too relatable, but I wanted to put it in a Canadian context just to bring it home. Grocery store chains, we set record profits this year. Check. Also check. And it's important to keep in mind that although grocer profits and profit margins are on the increase, the cost paid to farmers for the actual goods has stayed flat for years. Energy companies, we just posted our best quarter on record. Check. Now, this is in 2022, but since the onset of the pandemic, the price of energy has outpaced the consumer price index by a large margin. So who is to blame for inflation? Well, according to the news, it's peasants wanting wages, probably. That is true according to the Bank of Canada. The Bank of Canada is taking the position that it needs to raise interest rates to cool the pent-up demand that was built up over the pandemic, and it will encourage people to pay down debt rather than spend more money. Now, according to StatsCan, the top 20% of Canadians own 68% of the wealth. This is according to their last appraisal. And the bottom 40%, the bottom two quintiles, hold just 3% of the wealth. Most wealth is held by relatively few households in Canada. Household savings rate remains resilient as household deposits and mutual fund shares finish the year strong. In other words, it's a great time to be an investor or a shareholder in Canada. Yet, if you listen to conservative politicians, and I mean all of them, they will blame tax and spend liberals and specifically reference the carbon tax as being the primary driver of inflation in Canada. Let's just take food prices, for example. Here's the carbon tax going up, here's food inflation going down, yet the consumer price index stubbornly going up. So amidst corporate profit margins that are far above the average of the last 10 years, record profits coming in, corporations engaging in share buybacks and payouts in dividends to shareholders, rising inequality in Canada, why is it that all I hear people complaining about online when they talk about cost of living is that they don't get enough of a carbon rebate, a carbon fee rebate to cover the costs that they pay out in carbon tax? I feel it's important, if I want anybody to understand anything from my talking head, it's that you don't get any rebate from corporate profits. Why aren't you complaining about that? Also, don't vote conservative.